So we multiply the insides. We could say it's 8 times 32. If we wanted to, we could multiply these two together, but then we would just have to break it down anyway, so we could just break it down from here. So what are some factors of 8? 4 and 2. What are factors of 32? 8 and 4. Factors of 4? 2 and 2. Factors of 8? 4 and 2. And factors of 4? Right, then we just have to break this 4 down also, so that gives us a whole bunch of 2's. We need to circle groups of how many here? Groups of 2. Remember, when there's nothing written out here, we circle groups of 2. So 2, 2, 2, and 2. How many circles do we have? 4. So that tells us how many 2's we take to the outside. So we're going to take out 4 2's. Do we have anything left on the inside? Nope, nothing was not circled, so we don't have anything left on the inside. So then we just multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And what do we get? 16. Perfect. So our answer here is 16. All right, let's look at number 2. Are these the same radical? So can we multiply them? Nope, so we can't multiply, and we're done. What about 3? Can we multiply these two together? Yep. So we can just say the cubed root of 9 times negative 24. We could multiply them together, but then we would just ask what are the factors of that big number, so we might as well just break it down from here. So what are factors of 9? 3 and 3. And factors of 24? 3 and 8. Can't break down the 3's anymore. And what are factors of 8? 4 and 2. Can we break anything else down? 4 gets broken down into 2 and 2. We have to circle groups of how many here? Groups of 3. So we have 3 3's and 3 2's. What comes to the outside? A 3 and a 2. What's 3 times 2? 6. But we started with a negative in here. So awesome. It's negative 6 because we have an odd index. So we just take out the negative in our answer. Any questions here? All right, number 4. Can we multiply these two together? Yep, we have the same index, so we just put them in the same radical. So we have 4 times 16. Again, we could multiply them together, or we can just leave it and break it down from here. What are factors of 4? And factors of 16? 4 and 4. And then let's break it down some more. 4 gets broken down into what? 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. We have to circle groups of how many? Groups of 3. So we have 3 2's here and 3 2's here. So what comes to the outside? 2 2's. What's 2 times 2? 4. So our answer here is 4. Any questions on this one? All right, let's look at 5. Can we multiply these together? Yep. So we have the cubed root of 5 times 25. Negative 5 times negative 25. But what do two negatives, when multiplied together, what does that give you? A positive. So we could just get rid of our negatives. And then let's break everything down. Can we break 5 down? Nope, it's already a prime number. What about 25? 5 and 5. We circle groups of how many here? 3. So what's our answer? 5. Number 6. Can we multiply these together? Yep. So you have the square root of 50 times 75. What are factors of 50? 25 and 2. And factors of 75? 25 and 3. What are factors of 25? So we're breaking it down to 5, 5, 2, 5, 5, and 3. Alright, we have to circle groups of how many here? Groups of 2. So we have 2 5s here and 2 5s here. Can we circle anything else? Nope, because nothing else has a pair. So what comes to the outside? 5 times 5. What stays on the inside? 2 times 3. So then we just multiply them together. So 5 times 5 is what? 25. And 2 times 3? So 25 square root 6. All right, let's look at 7. So here we have some with some variables. So what are some factors of 32? 4 and 8. Factors of 4? 2 and 2. And factors of 8? 4 and 2, which would be 2, 2, and 2. We have to circle groups of how many? Groups of 3. So we have 3 2s here. So how many 2s are going to come to the outside? 1. And how many 2s are going to stay on the inside? 2. We do the same thing with our A's. Here we have 5 A's. So A times A times A. Circle groups of 3. So how many A's come on the outside? 1. And how many A's stay on the inside? 2. So when we multiply all of this together, how would we write our answer?
4a2.
Awesome. 2a and then 4a squared. Radical 4a squared. Oops. But we started with the third root, so we just have to make sure we put that 3 on our radical there. Any questions here? All right, number 8. Let's break everything down. What are factors of 32? 8 and 4. And then 8 breaks down into 3 2s. And 4 breaks down into 2 2s. And then we have 6 x's. 6, and then 7 y's. 4, 5, 6, 7. We're circling groups of how many?
5.
Groups of 5. So we have 5 2s, we have 5 x's, and 5 y's. So what comes to the outside? Negative 2xy, and what stays on the inside? xy squared. Perfect. And then because our index is 5, we just want to keep that index 5 on our answer too. Any questions here? All right. Number 9. So what can we break 81 down into? 9 and 9. And then 9 gets broken down into 3 and 3. And then how many x's do we have? 3. We're circling groups of how many?
3.
Groups of 3. So what comes to the outside?
3x.
3x, and what stays on the inside?
3.
Just that 3. Then we have to put our index in our answer also. Any questions? All right, number 10. What are factors of 54? 6 and 9. Factors of 6? 2 and 3. And factors of 9? 3 and 3, and then we have 10 y's. We're circling groups of how many?
3.
Groups of 3. So 3 3's, 3 y's, 3 y's, 3 y's. So what comes to the outside?
3y cubed.
Awesome. 3y cubed. What stays on the inside?
2y.
2y. All right, number 11. What are factors of 64? 8 and 8. 8 can break down into 2, 2, and 2. Here we have 2, 2, and 2. We have 3 x's and 6 y's. We're circling groups of how many?
3.
Groups of 4 here. So we have 4 2's and 4 y's. So what comes to the outside?
2y.
2y. And then we have our 4th root. And what stays on the inside?
4x cubed. Y.
Awesome. 2 times 2, which gives us 4. X cubed, because we have 3 x's, and y squared, because we have 2 y's. All right, you guys good with these? All right, we got some more multiplying here. Can we multiply these together?
Yeah.
Yep, because they have the same index. So we have the cubed root of 6 times 16. What are factors of 6? 3 and 2. And factors of 16? 4 and 4. Can we break this down any more? Yep, we can break down the 4's. So we want to circle groups of how many? Groups of 3. So we have 3 2's. Can we circle anything else? So what comes to the outside? Outside?
2.
Just a 2, and then what stays on the inside? 3 times 2 times 2, which would be 12. Perfect. All right, let's look at 13. Okay. So can we combine these together? Do we have the same index? Yeah, so we can multiply them together. So everything on the outside stays on the outside, everything on the inside gets put together. So 2 stays on the outside, and then we're going to put everything on the inside under one radical. So we have 2 times x times y. I'm going to write everything out. So y times y times 4 times x times 5y's. I just split everything up. So I put it all under one radical, but I just wrote out how many x's and y's that I had. Since I had y squared, I did 2 y's. And then x squared, I had 2 x's. Y to the 5th power, I had 5 y's. So we want to just work with our numbers and then do our x's and then do our y's. So our numbers are just 2 and 4. Can we break either one of these down anymore? The 4. What are factors of 4? 2 and 2. And then we have a 2 here. We want to circle groups of how many?
3.
Do we have 3 2's? Yep. So we're going to circle our 2's. So I'm just going to highlight it instead of circling. So that 2 is going to come on the outside. Do I have anything else on the outside already? The other 2. So I just want to make sure I'm going to multiply that other 2 outside with the 2 that I'm putting outside. Now let's look at our x's. So how many x's total do I have? 3. And I want to circle groups of how many? 3. Perfect. So how many x's do I take on the outside? 1, because I just circled all 3 of my x's. And then how many y's do I have? I have 7 y's. So this is y times y times y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm circling groups of how many? Groups of 3. So I have 3 here and 3 here. So how many y's come on the outside? How many circles do I have? 2. So 2 come on the outside. And how many stays on the inside? 1. So then I just want to multiply everything together to simplify. So multiply the numbers together. What's 2 times 2? 4. How many x's do I have? Just 1, so just 4x. How many y's? 2, so y squared. And then my index is 3 on my radical, and I only have a y on the inside. So this is my answer. So when it's super long and you have many variables inside of it, just take it one step at a time. Do the numbers first, then do the x's, then do the y's. Any questions here? Ready for the next one? All right, 14.
No, wait, no, Miss Carter, can you go back?
Yep. All right, 14. Can I multiply these together? Yep. So I'm going to put them under the same radical. So I have 8. I'm going to write my numbers together and then do the variables. So 8 times 40. And then y to the 5th power and y squared. So I just want to work with my numbers first, then I'll do the y's. So what are factors of 8? 4 and 2. And 4 breaks down into 2 and 2, so I have 2 times 2 times 2. What are factors of 40? 20 and 2, or 4 and 10? So here I have 2 times 2 times 2. What are factors of 4? 2 and 2, and factors of 10? 5 and 2. All right, how many, what are we circling? Groups of how many? Groups of 2. So remember, when there's no number here, it's groups of 2. So we have 2 2's, 2 2's, 2 2's, and a 5. So how many 2's are going to come to the outside? 3. So 2 times 2 times 2. And then anything stays on the inside?
5.
The 5. Now let's do the same thing with our y's. So I have 5 y's here, y times y, and 2 y's here. So I have 7 y's in total. I'm circling groups of how many? Groups of 2. So I have 2, 2, 2, and 1. So how many y's come to the outside? 3. So this would be y to the 3rd power. How many stays on the inside? 1. So now I just want to multiply everything together. So what's 2 times 2 times 2? 8. So I have 8y cubed square root 5y. All right, let's do 15. Can I multiply these together?
Yes.
Yep, my indexes are the same, so I can multiply them together. So everything on the outside stays on the outside. So I have a 3 and a 2 on the outside. Everything on the inside is going to go on the inside. So I'm going to start with my numbers. I have a 5 and a 50 on the inside. And then the y's, I have y cubed times y to the 4th power. So let's break everything down. Can I break down 5? Nope. What are factors of 50? 5 and 10. And factors of 10? 5 and 2. I'm circling groups of how many?
3.
Groups of 3. Perfect, because I have 3 5's. So what comes to the outside?
2.
The 5. And I already have a 3 times 2 on the outside, so I'm just going to put that 5 with them. And what stays on the inside? What did I not circle?
The 2.
The 2. So that's going to stay on the inside. Now let's do the y's. So I have 3 y's here and 4 y's here. I'm circling groups of how many?
3.
Groups of 3. So 3 and 3. So how many y's are going to come to the outside?
3. Or
2, because I have 2 circles. So y squared on the outside. And how many stay on the inside?
1.
Just 1. So now let's multiply everything together. What's 3 times 2 times 5?
30.
30. And then y squared. And then I have the cubed root of 2y. That's my answer. Can I multiply these two together? Are my indexes the same?
Yes.
Yep, so I can multiply them. So the 3 on the outside is just going to stay on the outside, and then I'm going to put everything under one radical. I'm going to start with my numbers. So I have 18 and 6. And then I'm going to write my a's. So I have a to the 9th power and a. And then I'll write my b's. So I just have b squared. So I'm going to take it one step at a time. Let's do the numbers first. What are factors of 18? 3 and 6. So I have 3. What are factors of 6? 3 and 2. And factors of 6? 3 and 2. I have to circle groups of how many here? Groups of 4, because my index is 4. Do I have a group of 4? No. So can anything come out with the numbers? Nope. So 18 and 6 are going to stay on the inside. So I have a 3 on the outside, because that was already on the outside, and I have 18 and 6 on the inside, because I couldn't break them down and take anything out. Now let's do it with the a's. I have 9 a's, and then 1 a. So I have 10 a's in total. I have to circle groups of 4. So I have 4.
Miss Carver,
Yes.
why did you put a 3 over the radical instead of a 4?
Oh, it should be a 4. You're right. How many a's come on the outside? 2 a's. And how many stay on the inside? 2. And then how many b's do I have? 2. Can I take any out? I'm circling groups of how many? 4. And I don't have 4 b's, so I can't circle anything. So those b's have to stay on the inside. So now I just want to multiply anything that I haven't multiplied together yet. So just 18 times 6. What is 18 times 6? 108. A squared, b squared. Any questions? Super. All right, we have a couple more dividing ones on the last page. So 17. Do these have the same radical? Yep, so we can divide them. So we're just going to put them under one big radical, and we have 500 divided by 5. What's 500 divided by 5? 100. And then we can break down 100. What are 2 factors of 100? 10 and 10. We could keep breaking this down, but we don't really need to because we already have a pair, and we know we're circling groups of 2 here. So I could just circle my 2 10s, and what would my answer be? 10. Any questions on this one?
No.
Alright, 18. Oh, this one looks fun. Do we have the same radical? Yes. So we're going to put them under one big radical. I have 48 times x cubed times y squared over 6 times x to the 4th power times y. So we just want to take one thing at a time. Let's look at our numbers first. Can we divide 48 by 6? What's 48 divided by 6? 8. Alright, now let's look at our x's. So I have 3 x's on the top and 4 x's on the bottom. So 3 of these x's on the bottom are going to cancel, and then I'm left with how many x's? 1 on the bottom. So that x just stays on the bottom. And then let's look at our y's. I have 2 y's on top and 1 y on the bottom. These are going to cancel, so how many y's am I left with? 1 on the top. So I simplified it. Now I just need to see if I can break anything down and take anything out. So to do that, when you still have a fraction, you want to break it back up into 2 separate radicals. So we have the cubed root of 8y on top and the cubed root of x on the bottom. And then we just do the top and then we'll do the bottom. So let's look at the cubed root of 8. Just rewrite it here so we have room. The cubed root of 8y. What are factors of 8? 4 and 2, and factors of 4? 2 and 2. We're circling groups of how many here? 3. Do we have 3 2's to circle? Yep. So what comes out? 2. So 2 is going to come out, and what stays on the inside? A y. And then we also, can we do anything with the x on the bottom? Nope, because we don't have enough to take it out. So this would be the cubed root of x on the bottom. Which you could leave it like this or simplify it a little bit more. We still have 5 minutes in here. As 2 cubed root, and then just put these back together, y over x. This one was tricky. This is a doozy here. But once you simplify it, after you put them together and simplify it here, you want to break it back apart and treat it as like 2 separate ones to see if you can break anything else down and then put it back together. Any questions on this one? Ready for the next? Last one, yay. 19. What should we do first here? Divide them. So we're going to put them all under one big radical. So we have 48 x cubed on top and 3x times y squared on the bottom. Now we want to take it one step at a time, so let's look at our numbers first. What's 48 divided by 3? 16? Yep. Now let's look at our x's. So if we have 3 x's on the top and 1 on the bottom, is anything going to cancel? 1x. And then how many are we left with? 2 on the top. And let's do the same with our y's. Oh, we just have 2 y's on the bottom, none on the top, so it's not going to cancel out with anything, it just stays on the bottom. Does this look like we can break it down anymore?
No.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when we want to break it down more, we split it back up into 2. So we have 16x squared, the square root of that on top, and the square root of y squared on the bottom. And we want to break it down from here. So let's see. We have the square root of 16x squared. So what are factors of 16?
4 and 4.
4 and 4. And we're circling groups of how many?
2.
Groups of 2. So we could circle our 2 4s. And then how many x's do we have? 2. So we have x times x. So we would circle our group of x's. So what comes out? 4x. And then on the bottom we have y squared. So what are factors of y? Squared. Y times y. We circle groups of how many on the bottom? Groups of 2. So how many y's do we take out? 1 y. Do we have anything left on the inside? Are we done? Yay. Yep, we're done. This is our answer.